Counterpoint, the general knowledge music quiz, chaired by Paul Gambaccini.
Hello. You join the College of Musical Knowledge at the Radio Theatre in London. We've reached the semi-final stage of the 2018 Counterpoint Tournament. 3 of our Heat winners from earlier in the series return to compete for a place in our Proms final. Let's meet them again.
I'm Liz ASHLING. I'm a registered nurse and midwife, and I'm from Amersham in Buckinghamshire.
Hi, I'm David GREENWOOD. I'm a project manager from Surrey.
Hi, I'm Jack Spearing. I'm a student from North Hertfordshire.
You all know the rules by now. The questions in the opening round are worth 2 points each, and if you get your own question wrong or can't answer, I open it up to the others for 1 bonus point. Good luck, all 3 of you. The first question of the first semi-final is for you, Liz ASHLING. Per ardua ad astra, Through Adversity to the Stars, a new work by Roderick Williams, received its premiere by the London Concert Choir in 2018. It celebrates the centenary of which major British organization, whose motto is that Latin title?
RAF?
That's correct, the Royal Air Force. David GREENWOOD. For today's first musical extract, you get a piece of piano music with Shura Cherkassky playing a famous transcription by Leopold Godowsky. Can you tell me who composed the original piece?
Schubert?
That's right, it was Schubert's Moment Musicale. Jack Spearing, it was announced recently that at the end of the 2020-21 season, Vladimir Yurovsky will step down as principal conductor of which British orchestra?
Is it the London Philharmonic?
That is correct. Liz ASHLING, back to you. Here's part of a song from an acclaimed musical that officially opened in New York in 1996. All I'd like you to do is tell me the name of the show.
525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee.
Chicago?
I'm sorry, it was not Chicago. Can anyone pick it up? And Jack says?
Rent?
That's right. It's Seasons of Love from Rent by Jonathan Larson. David GREENWOOD. This summer, the music world mourned the loss of a Scottish-born composer and conductor with many accomplishments to his name, but perhaps best known for his children's operas, adapting the works of the writer Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are and Higgledy-Piggledy-Pop. He was the son of a principal player in the London Symphony Orchestra and first conducted that orchestra in a symphony when he was just 15. Who am I talking about?
Alexander Gibson?
I'm sorry, no. And Jack says?
Oliver Nussin?
And that's right, whom I presented an Ivor Novello Award to last year. One of his favorite stories was how, when he struck up what he thought counted as a friendship with Karlheinz Stockhausen, he said, "You can call me Ollie." To which the great composer's reply was, "You can call me Stockhausen." Jack, here's your own question. You're going to hear the voice of a singer who was born 85 years ago this year. A classically trained pianist and a prominent activist in the civil rights movement. She died in 2003. I'd like you to tell me her name.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear.
Nina Simone?
That's right. It was Nina Simone singing Billy Taylor's I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free. Liz Ashling, in 2018, the Welsh National Opera's touring cabaret opera marked the centenary of the granting of the vote to women over 30 by celebrating the pioneering Viscountess Rhondda, Margaret Mackworth, the hitherto unsung Welsh heroine of the suffragette movement. In the all-female cast, the MC role is performed by which English soprano and broadcaster?
Sarah Connolly.
I'm sorry, would someone like to pick that up? And Jack says?
Catherine Bott?
No, nice guess, but not the right one. David Greenwood, we wish to have a guess? No, fine. I don't usually call upon the audience, but I have a feeling some of them will know, and it was? Leslie Garrett. Leslie Garrett, correct. David Greenwood, your next extract features Sir Thomas Beecham conducting one of the encores he used to call lollipops. I'd like you to tell me in which major French choral work this is usually found.
Les Sylphides.
No, I'm afraid that wasn't. And Liz says?
L'Enfance de Christ.
No, not bad though.
That was going to be my guess as well. So.
Okay. It's The Damnation of Faust by Berlioz. We heard the Danse des Sylphes. So everybody had a bit of a right answer there, but it wasn't right enough to get a point. Jack Spearing, a BBC Proms performance of Gilbert and Sullivan's Trial by Jury, acts as a precursor to the reopening later this year of which major London venue as a performance space after a restoration program that has taken 5 years.
Alexandra Palace?
That's right, which reopens in December. Liz Ashling, back to you. Here's the American singer Barbara Acklin with a cover version of a song originally heard in a movie of 1967. Afterwards, I'd like you to tell me which British artist sang this song in the film and took it to #1 in America.
But how do you thank someone who's taken you from crayons to perfume? It isn't easy, but I'll try. If you wanted the sky, I would ride across the sky in letters that would score 1,000 feet high to serve with love.
It's Lulu.
The original was by Lulu, who was in the film To Sir With Love with Sidney Poitier, the song written by Mark London and Don Black, as I said, a #1 in America, but in this country, buried on the B-side of The Boat That I Row, a lost hit. David Greenwood, Lulu did achieve a #1 in Britain, but had to wait until 1993 when she guested as singer on a hit by a best-selling boy band. Which band and which hit?
Sorry, I don't know.
And Liz says,
It's Take That and I'm sorry, I don't know the end.
you get 1 point for Take That. Jack, do you want to go for the point for the title of the song?
No idea.
No, it was Relight My Fire. And Jack, here is your own final question in this round. Film music. An arrangement of the haunting theme from a 1975 film which was recently adapted for television. Its setting is Australia at the very beginning of the 20th century, although the music is South American in origin. Can you tell me the name of the film?
Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh, yes, Picnic at Hanging Rock. That deserves a round of applause. And at the end of the opening round, the scores are: in third place with 2 points, David Greenwood. Lying second with 5 points is Liz Ashling. And in the lead with 10 points, it's Jack Spearing. Those points are significant going into the individual round because our 3 competitors will choose their special topics for this round in their current score order. I'm about to give them the 5 categories from which they'll be picking their own set of questions. They've had no prior warning of the topics and no chance to prepare. Today's choices are music in 19th century Paris, Russian composers go pop, the Wigmore Hall, murder and music, songs with spoken introductions. Jack Spearing, you're in the lead at the moment. Which would you like?
I would take 19th century Paris.
And for you, Liz Ashling.
I'll try murder and music.
It's a killer. And that leaves 3 for David Greenwood, and they are Russian composers go pop, the Wigmore Hall, songs with spoken introductions.
I think I'll go Russian composers. Go pop.
Remember, you cannot pick up bonuses on other people's questions. The contestant currently in third place goes first. So, David Greenwood, here come your specialist questions on Russian composers go pop. Which 1978 film, starring John Travolta as a working-class young man who spends his weekends dancing and drinking at a local Brooklyn discotheque, features a dance version of Mussorgsky's Night on Bear Mountain?
Saturday Night Fever.
That's right. The track by David Shire was retitled Night on Disco Mountain. Here's the hit song All By Myself by Eric Carmen. After you've heard this verse, I'd like you to tell which classical work and composer it's influenced by.
That's Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto.
That's right, for 2 points. One of the most familiar Christmas hits of the past 50 years is Greg Lake's I Believe in Father Christmas, which makes use of the Troika melody from the Lieutenant Kijé suite. By which Russian composer?
Prokofiev.
Correct. Staying with the Lieutenant Kijé suite, its romance movement formed the basis of the main theme of Sting's anti-war song Russians, released in 1985. Let's hear it now with a question to follow.
We share the same biology, regardless of ideology. Believe me when I say to you, I hope the Russians love their children too.
In the lyrics of that song, a Soviet leader and an American president are mentioned by name. Who are they?
Reagan and Gorbachev.
Reagan is correct for a point, but it was Mr. Khrushchev. Staying with the Sting theme, in the late 60s, Bob Dylan recorded a song for his basement sessions paying tribute to which famous work by Rimsky-Korsakov?
Scheherazade.
Oh no, I said staying with the Sting theme. It was a bad pun, but a good hint. Flight of the Bumblebee. More music now. Here's Tony Bennett singing Stranger in Paradise. After you've heard it, I'd like you to identify the origin of the melody, which was famously borrowed from Borodin.
Take my hand, I'm a stranger in paradise, all lost in a wonderland, a stranger in paradise. If I stand starry-eyed, that's a danger in paradise.
It's from the Polovotzian dances.
That's right, specifically the gliding dance of the maidens. Finally, the singer whose single Party Like a Russian samples Prokofiev's Dance of the Nights from Romeo and Juliet performed at the opening ceremony of the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. Who was that?
I know this. Sorry, no, it's gone.
It was the controversial Robbie Williams. And David Greenwood, in that round, you scored 9 points added to your previous 2. You now have 11 points. Liz Ashling, here come your questions on murder and music. The murder plan in an 1851 Verdi opera goes wrong when the hired assassin kills the daughter of the title character instead of the Duke of Mantua. Which opera is that?
Is it Othello?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Rigoletto. The body count in this Stephen Sondheim musical is quite remarkable. Can you name the show?
It's priest, have a little priest.
Is it really good?
Sir, it's too good, at least. Then again, they don't commit sins of the flesh, so it's pretty fresh.
Awful lot of fat.
Only where it's at.
Haven't you got poet or something like that?
Now you see the trouble with poet is how do you know it's deceased? Try the priest.
Heavenly.
Sweeney Todd?
That's right. From Sweeney Todd, we heard Angela Lansbury and Len Cariou. Which Italian composer who wrote much choral music murdered his wife and her lover in 1590?
Sorry, I can't think of it.
Gesualdo.
That's it.
The Oxford Companion to Music notes rather primly that the deed was done not without provocation. Apparently, no music whatsoever was intended to accompany this film scene. The composer of the film score persuaded the director otherwise. Please name that composer and the film.
The film is Psycho. I'm sorry, I don't know the composer.
It is Psycho. Do you recall who was Hitchcock's usual collaborator musically?
No.
All right. It was Bernard Herrmann. I'll keep my point. Which Australian rock singer's 1996 album Murder Ballads featured a series of songs about murder, including O'Malley's Bar and the traditional song Stagger Lee, as well as a duet with Kylie Minogue?
Nick Cave.
That's right, Nick Cave. Here's a quite ruthless serial killer. Which songwriting partnership is behind this number?
I married many men, a ton of them, and yet I was untrue to none of them, because I bumped off every one of them to keep my love alive. Sir Paul was frail, he looked a wreck to me. At night he was a horse's neck to me. So I performed an appendectomy to keep my love alive.
It's not Flanders and Swan, is it?
It wasn't Flanders and Swan. Not a bad guess, though. The song was To Keep My Love Alive. It was sung by Vivian Siegel, and it was written for a revival of A Connecticut Yankee by Rodgers and Hart. Your final question on murder and music. Whose 1970s hit Hurricane was inspired by a murder case involving a black American boxer and was a factor in his eventual acquittal?
Bob Dylan.
Yes! Reuben Hurricane Carter was found guilty of murder in 1967, but for many years there were suspicions of a miscarriage of justice. Dylan visited Carter in jail and subsequently wrote the protest song. And Liz Ashling, in that round you scored 7 points. Added to your previous 5, you now have 12 points. And so, Jack Spearing, here are your questions on music in 19th century Paris. Which composer, who wrote about 100 operettas, did Rossini describe as the Mozart of the Champs-Élysées?
Offenbach?
That's right. Here comes part of the final chorus from Rossini's last opera, premiered in Paris in 1829. Which opera is it?
William Tell?
Correct, for 2 points. Giselle, first performed in Paris in 1841, is one of the oldest ballets in the standard repertory. Who wrote the music?
No idea.
It was Adolphe Adam. Here's an excerpt from a ballet by Delibes, first performed at the Paris Opera in 1876. Please name the ballet.
Can't think of it. Sorry, pass.
It was Sylvia. We heard the Act 3 Pizzicati. A demonstration of which Javanese type of orchestra at the World Exhibition held in Paris in 1889 was a major influence on Debussy?
Gamelan.
That's right. Who in 1830 and 1848 wrote arrangements of this famous tune?
Berlioz?
That's right. Berlioz wrote the perfect soundtrack to the 1830 revolution, which overthrew Charles X. We heard the voice of Placido Domingo. And finally, Chopin died in Paris in 1849. In which cemetery was he buried?
I'm sure I'll butcher the pronunciation, but is it Père Lachaise?
That's right. And that pronunciation is probably better than mine. And Jack Spearing, in that round, you scored 10 points. Added to your previous 10, you now have 20 points. After the individual round, let's recap on how the scores now stand. In third place with 11 points is David Greenwood. Lying second with 12 points, it's Liz ASHLING. And our leader with just one round to go with 20 points, Jack Spearing. It's on the buzzer in the quick-fire final round. Things can change quickly. A correct answer wins you 1 point, but you lose a point if you buzz in and fail to answer correctly. There are no bonuses. So, fingers poised, here we go. Which Cole Porter song features the line, "How strange the change," from Major to... And David says...
Every time we say goodbye.
Correct. The song Big Spender, made famous by Shirley Bassey, originally features in which stage musical? And David Greenwood says...
Sweet Charity.
For another point, which of Holst's planets is the bringer of peace? And David Greenwood says...
Venus.
A hat trick. In Bizet's opera Carmen, which former lover stabs Carmen to death? And David says...
Don Jose.
4 in a row. The jazz saxophonist Julian Edwin Adderley is better known by which nickname? And Jack Spearing says...
Cannonball Adderley.
And that's right, Cannonball Adderley. Sir Hubert Parry wrote a tune called Repton, for which hymn? And David says...
Dear Lord and Father of Mankind.
That's right. What sort of ceremony is celebrated by a song known as an epithalamium? David Greenwood.
A funeral.
No, I'm sorry to say, it's a wedding.
Yeah.
-1. Which multi-million selling 1980s American rock band's lead guitarist went by the nickname of Slash? And Liz Ashling says,
Guns N' Roses.
that's right, for the point. Hannah Glowari is the heroine of which operetta? And David says?
The Merry Widow.
Yes. The last movement of which Tchaikovsky's symphony has the musical instruction Adagio Lamentoso? And David says?
The Pathétique.
That's right, number 6. Which female singer teamed up with the Pet Shop Boys on the hit songs Nothing Has Been Proved? And Liz?
Dusty Springfield.
You're right. Who composed the notoriously technically demanding piano suite entitled Gaspard de la Nuit? And Jack Spearing says?
Ravel.
He's right. Which famous musical is based on a 1930s play called Green Grove o' Lilacs by Lynn Riggs? And Jack says?
Oklahoma?
Yes. Bruce Springsteen's 2016 autobiography shares its title with which of his albums? And Liz says?
Born to Run.
For the point. Which was Benjamin Britten's last completed opera? And Jack says?
Death in Venice?
He's right. Harry Styles, formerly of One Direction, played a soldier called Alex. And David says?
Dunkirk.
That's right. What was the first name of the French composer Fauré? And Liz says?
Gabrielle.
Yes. And finally, what are cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels? David?
My favourite thing.
That is right. And at the end of the semifinal of Counterpoint, the final scores are third with 16 points, Liz Ashling. Runner-up with 19 points is David Greenwood. And our winner and through to the final with 24 points, Jack Spearing. Very well done, Jack Spearing. You'll be back one more time for a crack of that coveted Counterpoint title and the handsome silver trophy. Who your competitors will be, we will find out in the remaining semifinals over the next fortnight. A warm thank you to the other two of you for a spirited contest. We'd love to see you back in a few years' time if you've enjoyed yourself and would like another chance. Don't miss next week's contest when we'll be deciding another of the places in the 2018 final. Goodbye.